Manchester United are trying to organise meetings with players' representatives ahead of the January window. Could Manchester United be making a move for a left wing back and even a midfielder in January? Some sources say priority striker, but that looks more like a summer move. Kerkez, Dorgu, Alphonso Davies, Robinson, Nori. What is the latest on the left back front in regards to United? We will talk about that because if something's going to happen in January, that's where I see it happening. But interestingly, we're going to talk more about actually why INEOS might not spend big in January because of the youth, because of players that Amorim could integrate from the academy at Carrington, his secret weapon, the plan for Sekou Kone, the youth, and INEOS think there's a good squad there that Amorim could get performing better. So we're going to dive into all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news updates and more. But before I dive into today's video, guys, if you do enjoy this video, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, please do subscribe down below if you're new and want to stay up to date on daily United content. I'm on 98,397 subscribers, so closing in on 100k, very close to 98.4k. But let's dive into the first story about what United's plans could be. So, United have asked Alphonso Davies and his management for a meeting in January. Bayern have not yet accepted the demand of a 16 million salary per year and 15 million signing fee. Alphonso Davies. I like Alphonso Davies. I'd like Alphonso Davies at United. I'm willing to give him high wages if we're getting him on a free. But I do also think, does he want to come to United or does he want massive wages? You've got to look at multiple things. I want Alphonso Davies. I'd love him at the club. But there are also good left wing back options out there. So if Alphonso Davies becomes something that's unrealistic or too financially demanding, I have no issue with United looking elsewhere. I think it would be amazing to get him, but I think he wants Real Madrid or he's trying to get a massive salary off Bayern. I just don't personally think that he wants Manchester United, if I'm going to be honest. I apologise if we got a little bit of lag there. It was also said that Manchester United have made signing a striker a top priority in the January transfer window, says the Mirror. Now, reliable sources have told me it's a left wing back and a midfielder with legs, and that Manchester United see January is not the time for a striker. They will look to reinforce the attack in the summer because there's more options, there's more money available, rather than bringing in a Weghorst short-term fix signing again. But the Mirror saying that actually a striker could be priority for January. Now, what I read was this: Manchester United have prioritised signing a left wing-back and a central midfielder ahead of the January transfer window, but they're also opening to strengthening their attack, although that is more likely to happen in the summer due to available options. Kerkez, Davies and Dorgu are among names on INEOS's list, but again, a summer move is more probable. Ashworth wants to move away from short-term fixes as it remains to be seen if United have the January budget for one of their targets. So what has been said is that I think in January it's left wing-back and centre midfield, but our left wing-back targeted Dorgu, Alphonso Davies and Kerkez, which all could be difficult to acquire in January unless we pay an extra fee for getting him in January. Bournemouth will not want to sell Kerkez halfway through the season, particularly when he's playing well. He was incredible versus Tottenham last night. He was incredible when he played against Manchester City. When I've watched Bournemouth's big games, because I only really watch them when they play the big clubs, they've really, really impressed me, particularly Semenyo and Kerkez. They've really stood out to me. Evan Nilsson also looks quite good, but Kerkez, his aggression has been fantastic. And I said I can't see United landing Alphonso Davies, but young left-back talents like Dorgu and Kerkez are great options. I do like Anthony Robinson, but I think he's more of a back four player. I like Nori, but I think he's defensively a bit more vulnerable. I think when it comes to the energy that we need in the squad, defending transitions, getting up and down the flank, that Ruben Amorim's INEOS side demands, I think Dorgu and Kerkez, for me, if you can't get Alphonso Davies, it's not the end of the world, because I think they're great options. This was said here by someone on Twitter. Sir Kerkez is a phenomenal talent, incredible intensity. He can play the game at 200 miles an hour. If he smells blood, he's very aggressive and forward-thinking. Great physique. Add some temperament to that, and you've got a serious player. And that is how I felt watching Kerkez, and I think he just describes it better than me. Physically good, aggressive, really can get up and down the flank, which I think is what we need, and forward-thinking, which I think is what we need in an Amorim fullback. I like the look of Kerkez. This is Dorgu. This has obviously been said by a Juventus fan, but they've said versatile option for fullback or winger on both sides, so as a wing-back, perfect for United. They obviously have Cambiasso, one of the best fullbacks in the world at Juventus, but he'll play on. They were looking at him for the left-hand side. Technically brilliant, athletically brilliant, very good player as well. I would like Dorgu. I haven't watched a lot of him, but what I have watched is attacking-minded, quick, fast, technically good, real talent, Denmark Young Player of the Year. So they would be my options as well. But will United spend in January? Those within INEOS believe there are several good players in the Man United squad and that the club performed well in the transfer window. With the level of talent available at Carrington and Amorim's disposal, they're confident he can improve the team without requiring significant investment in January. I think INEOS only want to buy, long-term deals. They're not going to do short-term fixes in January. They think there's good players at the squad that Amorim could get a tune out of. They think there's good players in the youth. They do want to back Amorim. They know that they need to improve the physical flooring of the squad. They know they'll need another attacker, another midfielder, another centre-back and a left wing-back. At least they know they need to improve the physical and technical flooring of the squad, and I trust INEOS to do that, because when I look at Yoro, I mean, he's played 10 minutes versus Arsenal, looks fantastic. Agate, liking the signing. Xerxes, when utilised in the right role, we can see what he does, but we haven't seen enough of Xerxes yet. Delict's been good and Majrabi's been a mint signing. I think the INEOS signings have been fine so far. I think this has been one of our best transfer windows in the summer, and they're doing well, and a lot of them look like they could be in their long-term plans. I do trust INEOS in the transfer window to get it right, and hopefully they do. We will need 4 or 5 signings under Amorim. But I believe that this team is able to play better than they were under Eric Ten Hag, and I believe they already are under Ruben Amorim. I believe he can make the team look better. He got Xerxes to look really good last game. So there's lots that Ruben Amorim can do, but I do agree when there's lots of people in the youth, when there's lots of players at his disposal, I can actually personally understand why INEOS don't want to spend crazy big in January. I think a left wing back and midfielder in January, if the right person's available, will get them. I don't want short-term deals. If you can get Kerkez in January, get them. If you can get someone like Dorgu in January, get him. But if you can't, I can understand waiting to the summer. And I do think there's good players in the squad, and I do think that Amorim can get us playing better than we were playing previously. But I think for Amorim to really succeed, he's going to need 4 or 5 signings to really improve the physical flooring of the squad. And I think he could dip into the academy. Obviously, this is some older news, but I wanted to add it into the video for context. Manchester United wants Sekou Kone to be training with the first team by the end of the season. Sekou Kone was brought in with the expectation he could be integrated into the first team by his second season. Man United coaches have already been very impressed with his performances so far. Gobbo Kokonki, Harry Amas and Bentito Mantato are 3 players that Amorim may consider involving in matchday squads. We've already seen Kokonki in matchday squads, and Harry Amas has been in and around. Meanwhile, Obi Martin, Ibrahimov and Shea Lacey are highly rated but may need another season of development before Amorim involves them more regularly. So what we're being told is United want Sekou Kone to slowly be integrated into the first team by the end of the season. He was signed for that purpose, and among Kone, Gobbo Kokonki, Harry Amas and Bentito Mantato are 3 players in the academy that's caught Ruben Amorim's eye so far in terms of maybe the profile of player that he would like. Obviously, Godwill has been involved in the squad. I think Obi Martin's looked good, but he definitely needs another year in academy football. He's not ready yet. Ibrahimov, again, so young, and Shea Lacey's had a lot of injury issues, but I think there is thoughts of Amorim diving into the youth. I think Amorim is very more than willing to dive into the youth. He showed that he did that at Sporting. He's, probably going to get maybe 1 or 2 signings in January, so he's going to have to make the most out of the United squad and dive into the youth, and that's something he did very well at Sporting. Diving into Leny Yoro, it was said in every internal meeting, even during talks before joining Man United, Amorim and his staff mentioned Leny Yoro as a crucial player and smart signing. Leny Yoro's game time will be managed to avoid injury in the next weeks, but he's considered the ideal player to sign by technical staff in the United's management team. What we saw from Leny Yoro when he came on versus Arsenal, the tackle he made was a really impressive performance. I'm convinced that Leny Yoro is going to be a superstar, and I think every manager will look at Leny Yoro, his physical and technical qualities, and say, I want him. And I think that obviously Ruben Amorim was having, before he even joined United, was having chats about the players in the squad, and he liked the look at Leny Yoro. And what we saw versus Arsenal was really encouraging. We've got to mould him in. We've got to be careful with him. We can't take crazy, you can't rush him back, I think you've got to mould him in. He's just come back from a long injury, but I think he'll be playing a few games soon. I think he'll be involved soon. I think he could even start very, very soon. I'm very, very excited for what we're going to see from Leny Yoro. I think he's a fantastic talent. And then last but not least, and when I say take time with Leny Yoro, just don't rush him back. Don't throw him in the deep end. I think it was a good game versus Arsenal. Mould him into a few more games. But I think after Christmas, I think he could be starting week in, week out for United. But just moulding him in, I think when he's so young is what we've got to do. But I think, if he starts next game, deserves it. He's been mint. But he should only start next game if we think he's physically ready in terms of returning from his injury. It was also said the United leadership wanted Declan Rice. Ollie and Ten Hag wanted him. I wanted Declan Rice. But apparently there was some pushback from scouts, considering that United never listen to scouts when they recommend good players. But when the scouts are a little bit sceptical of a 100 million player, they push back. It is interesting. I think for me, Declan Rice, when he was about £50 million, when we had Ollie in, we should have gone for him. I think for me, I understand not wanting to spend 100 million on Declan Rice. I don't think he's a 100 million player, but I think we've needed a DM for a while. And I think there were so many transfer winners, we just ignored signing a DM and we kept with Mutfred. And we went elsewhere, and I think we needed a DM. Even if it wasn't Declan Rice, we should have signed an alternative. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.